Okay, we're here in the core mecca with the Stonegate boys. Most of you who follow our journey, the core journey, and myself and Danny as an athlete will have figured that we've recently collaborated with Stonegate. So we're here today for some pretty cool things. We're going to go through a little bit of testing, which Danny's going to talk about. But first of all, boys, introduce yourselves.
So I'm Dr. Will Robertson. So I'm an NHS GP, but also here representing Stonegate, is a private GP practice in central York, but we can cater for anywhere in the UK. We love the NHS, but sometimes there are things you need a little bit different. So if you need to be seen a bit quicker, if you need to see the same person time and time again, if you want to have a little bit of a chat about something that's more complex, we can cater for that. We also factor in lots of other things that the NHS can't cater for. So elite performance, which is why we're working with these guys. Men's health, that's a big interest of mine. Women's health, the menopause, endometriosis, and fertility issues that the people really need to talk about.
I'm Rom. I'm also one of the co-owners of Stonegate Medical. I initially trained as a surgeon. After that, I became a GP in West Yorkshire, then decided to move across Australia. So I was there for 5 years, where I did a lot of training in skin cancer surgery and skin cancer medicine.
What we've kind of teamed up with these guys for really is to sort of optimise our Matt and I's performance, training especially as well. It's going to be really interesting. So today Matt and I are going to do a double simulation, full Hyrox run through. So it's going to be exciting to see the results and get a better understanding of how we can improve going forward. And then once we've got that over and done with, we'll get to the real exciting and interesting stuff and give these boys a pacing and put them through the paces and see who comes out on top. So.
Let's just talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. When we first met these guys through the work of Rom and the idea for an elite collaboration with themselves and us at Stonegate Medical, we decided that what we probably wanted to do was start with some biomedical and biometric testing. So these guys came to us in York. We took their height, their weight, their body fat percentages. We took some blood tests looking at really important markers, not only for health, but for elite performance, like blood counts, kidney function, how their liver was performing, what their cortisol and stress levels were, what their testosterone levels were. That's such a key thing in terms of performance for anyone. And we found lots of stuff to work on. But one of the issues we identified early, there was a little bit of issue with blood sugar and glucose. So we agreed that the next step we would come and work with them as doctors on site to take blood sugars at key moments in a workout. So we're going to do their blood sugars before, every 10 minutes, and then afterwards to see what these guys can do in terms of food before, during, and after to achieve optimum performance with their blood sugars. So these guys are just going to do their warm-up. We're going to get our kit, and then let's get started.
Well, I think it's a funny thing when you're about to put yourself through a little bit of pain for 50 odd minutes, but in all honesty, I'm really excited to see what it brings up.
But in athletes, obviously they have a higher glycogen store in their liver. So glycogen obviously gets broken down into glucose for doing intense exercise. So we might actually see the paradoxical where the glucose level rises throughout the exercise, and that might give us an indication as to the level of fitness. So using those results, we could identify whether if the sugar levels are high towards the end, we can optimize the glycogen store beforehand with nutrition supplements and improving the diet.
Okay, so this is a real fun bit. Obviously, Dr. Will and Dr. Romy, they really felt like they was missing out by not doing a workout. So here we are at the prestigious, the first time in history, the Stonegate Games. Right, so job done. The storm after the calm. What a session, guys. So we're just going to quickly debrief. And I think the important thing was, and most important thing was we was talking about our results as athletes. But we also want this video to be a little bit about our Dad Strong message from Will. So we're going to first of all talk about what we noticed about us as an athlete and get the experts' take on that. So starting off the results then. So we saw from myself, the baseline glucose actually increased during the workout.
It probably speaks to start with how he's eaten and drunk today. But then going into the exercise, like starting at the lowest level of sugar of 4.8 and then building up to 5.2 suggests that his body is perfectly acclimatized to get stronger as the athletic event goes on. Body was recognizing the sugar was low. As he was doing exercise and it was going lower still, he will have been digging into his body's resources. So that would have been a mix of glycogen at the start and then moving towards some fat further towards the end of the workout.
I think on Danny's side as well, Danny saw some similar results. So we had a baseline, which was actually slightly higher than mine to start off with. Slight drop for Danny, and then it was going back up. That probably shows that his body was utilizing carbohydrates pretty well. And that also answers the question that we both get a lot, is about intra-workout fueling. Would there be no need for us to take on carbohydrate during a doubles workout? Because if our blood glucose were fairly stable and actually increasing, it's not about just taking in carbohydrates for carbohydrate's sake. I think just going back to one time in Glasgow for the pro doubles, I decided to take on some carbohydrate during a race and I felt absolutely terrible. Straight away, my body was rejecting it. Stomach went into cramps. So just kind of reiterate, and I think that's the cool thing about these guys. They're putting how we're feeling into data. And then moving on to the Stone Games, which was a little bit of fun. I think what is really cool for these guys is to be putting themselves out there.
And what these guys are going to go into in a minute on the Dad Strong thing, it's just see these guys who leading by example and putting their health at the forefront so they can be better for their children.
Romy, what sort of message would you, as a father, as a busy guy, and what sort of message are you guys trying to get across to the dad world, the Dad Strong movement? What are you trying to get across to people?
There is time. Make time. Because the more time you make for yourself to look after your mental health, physical health, the more time you'll have towards the end of your life.
It's pretty inspiring to see guys at the top of their game. We understand at the core group, we understand everyone isn't trying to be elite athletes like we are. And we understand that sometimes elite can just be being the best version of yourself. And I think that's the message we're all trying to get across, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's just about being better, finding a way to be a little bit better.
And also to de-stress.
We want to show that private general practice is about everyone. It sounds like it's for the elite, but it's not. It's just for people that want to get seen, that might have different needs. Specifically with the Dad Strong bit, I think most of us that are dads, because we've all been there, we've had days where we haven't been good dads, haven't been good husbands, and it's because we haven't looked after ourselves. So it's about saying, taking care of yourself is not about being weak, it's about being strong.
Dad Strong. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.